everyone's keeping nice and cool. This is why I like weather that we have in, but I'm not complaining. Welcome to the Winslow Township Board of Education's regular board meeting. Today is Wednesday, April 17, 2022. Public notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates in a notice dated January 6, 2022. Adequate and electronic notice of this public meeting has been provided, specifying the time, place, and manner in which this meeting is being conducted. It was advertised in the Current Post, posted in all schools, the administration office, the municipal building, the library, the Quadruple Center, Edward Acres, downtown, and the Winslow Township post offices. And this is our mission statement. The mission of the Winslow Township School District, a large, diverse, and growing community, is to educate all students to become independent, lifelong learners, critical thinkers, and caring and confident members of their community. The district, in partnership with the community and in a climate of cooperation and mutual respect, will provide an academic environment which values excellence and diversity, encourages students to strive for personal excellence, and assist them in acquiring the knowledge, skills, and attitudes necessary to contribute positively to a rapidly changing world. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake.
Present.
Ms. Britton. Here. Ms. Martin. Present. Ms. Moore. Present. Ms. Nieves. Present. Mr. Shaw.
Present.
Ms. Thomas. Present. Ms. Peterson. Present. And Ms. Pitt.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Cole. We all now stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2021-2022 district goals. Student achievement: continue to implement best practices for delivering instruction to students utilizing all available and appropriate instructional models. This shall include ensuring articulation at all grade levels throughout the district, the focus on innovative classroom instruction at all grade levels, C, ensuring all students have equal access to equipment and resources needed to facilitate and promote student learning in any setting. D, evaluation and updating all district programs, including athletics and extracurricular activities. E, accountability of all district staff. 2, continue to foster a positive school environment that is conducive to teaching and learning. A, focus on building relationships among staff and families that will result in increased learning and more effective instruction. B, emphasis on collaboration with all district stakeholders. C, promote an inclusive, diverse, and compassionate learning environment. 3, market our strengths and achievements to all stakeholders to increase capacity for greater parent, caregiver, community support. A, continue with our public relations marketing plan. B, continue to work with the various advisory committees in the district. C, examine communication methods utilized by the district.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Moving now, board members, I'm going to get top of page 2, and we do have a presentation to make, and I believe that the young lady is here. Will Ms. McClendon kindly come to the podium? This evening, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to and to Mr. Clinton, as she has rotated off the board, this plaque to show our appreciation for what she has done, what she contributed to this board the 3 years that she was here. This is what it looks like. Now I'm going to read what it says. Ms. Peterson?
Presented to Amina McClendon, a recognition of loyal service, member of the Board of Education of Winslow Township, January 2019 to December 2021. Cheryl Mitchell, President, Julie Peterson, Vice President, Larry Blake, Lorraine Dredden, Rita Martin, Cynthia Moore, Rebecca Nevins, John M. Shaw Jr., and Kelly Thomas, H. Major Poteet, EPD Superintendent, and Tara McCoy, Board Secretary. Congratulations.
I just want to say, on behalf of my fellow board members, thank you so much for this plaque. It's definitely very appreciated. It has been an honor, certainly those last 3 years on the board, with my community, and also to the staff and the children of the Winslow Township School District. So again, thank you.
Moving now on minutes to correspondence, I'm still on page 2. Ms. Moore, would you read any correspondence at this time?
Madam President, we have no correspondence this evening.
Thank you. Moving now, board members, to our minutes. I'm asking at this time for a motion to approve our minutes from our first, I'm asking for approval for the minutes from our town hall meeting that was held on March 16, 2022, open session. Is there a motion?
Julie Peterson, move for approval of the minutes of town hall meeting March 16, 2022.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Dredden. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Dredden? Yes. Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Nieves? Yes. Mr. Shaw? Ms. Thomas? Yes. Ms. Peterson?
Abstain.
And Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. This time, board members, I'm asking for a motion to approve the minutes from our regular meeting that was held March 23rd, 2022, open session.
Julie Peterson, move for adoption of the minutes of the March 2020, 23rd, 2022 regular meeting.
Lorraine second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Dredden. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Dredden?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Nieves? Yes. Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas? Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Moving down to the minutes, I'm asking for a motion to approve the minutes from our regular meeting, March 23rd, 2022, closed session. Is there a motion?
Julie Peterson, move for adoption of the minutes of our closed session, March 23rd, 2022.
Lorraine second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Dredden. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Ms. Strang?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Neil Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas? Yes. Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Moving now, board members, to our board committee reports. Let's begin with our athletic committee. Mr. Shaw?
Yes, Madam President. The athletic committee met on March 30th, 2022, at 5:33 p.m. In attendance were myself, Ms. Moore, Mr. Blake, Dr. Putty, and Mr. Whitaker, the athletic director. We discussed all the spring sports that began April 1st for the high school and the middle school. Next, we discussed the participation numbers at the high school. We had a great deal of students come out this year compared to the last couple of years because of the pandemic, lowered the numbers. Boys track, 66 students came out. Girls track, 43. Baseball, 30. Softball, 30. Boys tennis, 12 and it's varsity only. Girls lacrosse, 30, varsity only. Boys lacrosse, 24, varsity only. Weight training, 29. The middle school had 87 kids come out for a track. Baseball had 32, and softball had 26. Also, Mr. Whitaker informed us that the girls track won sectionals and states. Girls basketball made the playoffs, but unfortunately lost in the first round. In wrestling, Emerald Mitchell made it to regions. And in the middle school, the girls and boys basketball teams both finished their seasons with one loss each. They didn't have playoffs at the middle school level, so that's where they see that in their season. Our meeting concluded at 5:49 p.m.
With regards to the athletic reports. Moving now to the report from our education committee.
Yes, Madam President. The Education Committee meeting was called to order at 4:07 on Thursday, March 24th, 2022, via District WebEx. In attendance, board members Rita Martin, Kelly Thomas, Julie Peterson. Mr. Blake is having difficulty getting onto the WebEx link. Administrative staff present, Dr. Darcy Hoffman, Assistant Superintendent, and Education Committee Liaison, and Dr. H. Ortiz, Superintendent. Discussion topics: A, enrollment for after-school program begins Tuesday, March the 29th. Program will operate Tuesday and Thursday. One, a total of 235 students are currently registered to participate from school 1 through the middle school. 2, transportation has been arranged and snacks will be provided. 3, the program will last for approximately 1 hour. 4, students displaying behavioral issues will be removed from the program. B, the New Jersey Student Learning Assessment. Testing will be conducted April the 25th through May the 14th. Makeups will be scheduled for May 23rd through the 27th. C, Winslow High School seniors will have an opportunity to pursue 2 health path careers: certification, medical assistant, and certified behavioral management. Through the program Propel America and the National Louis University at no out-of-pocket cost to the student. Let me say it again, at no cost to the student. 1, both programs are approximately 18 months long with an internship requirement. 2, clinical expense may be through experience, maybe through Cooper University Hospital or Penn Medicine. Students must register for this online program during their senior year and begin the program in the fall. 3, job placement assistance is provided at the completion of the program. D, updates. 1, we are working on various educational grants. 2, the last day of the market period is Wednesday, April 6th, and report cards will be distributed district-wide on April the 13th, 2020. 3, Autism Acceptance Week. is April the 4th through the 8th, 2022. Reading enrichment program. 1, libraries are under construction. 2, clinical experience may be through Cooper University Hospital or Penn Medicine. That's a repeat for the student. Next committee meeting will be scheduled for 4 p.m. Tuesday, April the 26th, 2022. Meeting adjourned at 4:50 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Board members, would there be any questions or comments as it relates to the report out of the Education Committee? Thank you, hearing none. Moving on, will there be a report out of our Equity Equality Committee?
Yes, Madam President. Let me just alter the name a little bit, Ms. Smith. The Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee met on April 6, 2022. For myself, Kelly Thomas, Mrs. Cheryl Felix, Mr. Peterson, and Mr. Deion Davis. The committee met for the first time to prepare a strategy and deliver information regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion, and to also discuss the district's responsibilities for trying to continue to provide an environment of inclusion in our schools. The district is in compliance with the New Jersey Department of Education, state, and federal data reporting requirements. The district has Spanish-speaking staff in the majority of our schools to assist with translation as needed. Each year, the school board approves a Spanish interpreter to assist with translating district documents and recording of local performance skills. The district website has an option to choose from over 30 languages to translate. The district has translation devices in all schools. The district has culturally specific books in all school libraries. Gatherings and announcements are held in pursuit of diverse staff to accommodate our diverse environment. A mailing of approximately 100 flyers are sent to local colleges, HBCUs in the area, divine non-organizations, local churches, and organizations each year regarding recruiting efforts. There has been a 21% increase in minority certificated staff from 2012 until present. We also discussed inviting guest educators to our public sport meetings quarterly to present on the most updated training formats and concepts of diversity, equity, and inclusion. The meeting ended at 6:44 p.m. and our next scheduled meeting is scheduled at 6 o'clock.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Board members, would there be any questions or comments as it relates to this report? And Ms. Thomas, we will change that particular title of the your committee to be the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee rather than the Equity, Equality Committee. So that's going forward, that's how we're doing that. So board members, at this time, I'm just going to take a particular privilege and I'm going to kind of interrupt our agenda because there was something that we did not do, we were scheduled to do it as it relates to the passing of a parent here who was absolutely involved in this district as well as having children. And if we could just get Ms. Peterson is going to just indicate exactly who it is and why we're doing this. And we stand for
Thank you. If we can all lower our heads in a moment of silence for an individual that played an integral part of our community, not just the Board of Education, but also Winslow Township. Her passing will leave a void in both our community and school district. We now hope that her family is touched by our spirit, that they are enriched and know that we are with them. And that is the family of Stephanie Simmons. Thank you.
all systems. difficult to endure anytime, but it seems to have a great esteem somehow when it comes in the season that usually we celebrate. And so again, the Simmons family is certainly in our prayers and in our thoughts. So board members, we will continue on with our reporting out in our committees. At this time, is there a report out of our marketing committee?
Yes. The marketing committee we met on Monday, March 28th, from 4:30 to 5:25 in attendance, myself, Mrs. Moore, Mr. Paredes, Mrs. Pitts, and the district representatives, Mr. Davis. We talked about 4 different things. The women's history update. We thank Mr. Davis for a wonderful job with the women's history PowerPoint. The PowerPoint was featured not only on our social media, but our district website. The conclusion of that was that we want to continue working with this for next year. We also discussed the town hall meeting that we agreed. The town hall meeting took place on March 16th. We discussed that the overall town hall meeting went very well. The committee discussed the pros and cons of the town hall meeting. The committee also discussed the comments that were made on Facebook. The big takeaway from that was the community engagement in technology seeking one of the biggest concerns. The conclusion of that conversation was the recommendation to change the format of the town hall meeting, possibly start in a large group and then break out to smaller groups. We also talked about how to break up the smaller groups, maybe by schools, or have school board members sit at each table, and then come back to a large group for a wrap up. The other thing we talked about is our acknowledgement. I brought this up maybe 2 board meetings ago. We talked about the possible wording of land acknowledgement. So I just want to put a pause here and tell you what that means. So for me, it all came about in some conferences during the summer. And every conference, we stopped and acknowledged the people of the land. And so the indigenous people. So every meeting is almost like saying the Pledge of Allegiance. What I would like for this board to do, and we need to take a vote, I would like for us to acknowledge the indigenous people every time we start a school board meeting. I put a possible wording, and it goes something like this. This land on which we inhabit, physically situated in the original ancestral homelands of the Lenape people. We pay respect to the Lenape and all indigenous people, past, present, and future, in a continuing presence in the homeland and throughout the historical diaspora. So I wanted to somewhere put that like right at the beginning of our agenda. So like right after when Mrs. Pitts reads the mission statement, or maybe right before the mission statement, but I wanted to acknowledge the indigenous people. So, what do you guys think?
Comments, questions? They needs to know, they all need to know exactly as a board.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes, it's all down. All
The land that you're seeking out is the land that we are currently on?
yes, so the indigenous people were the Lenape, were the Lenape house. Say it differently, this is their land.
Thank you for that clarification.
So, Mr. Blake, are you aware of whether any other school district that does this type of acknowledgement? I'm specifically not talking about the Lenape school district.
I don't know. I don't have any context there. I mean, I could find out, but I don't know in the school district, in the area that acknowledge indigenous people. But I know they do it in other settings. And we can be a pioneer and start our own trend. We can be an influencer.
Comments? Any comments? Pro, con? I need to know before I continue. Mr. Blake needs to know. Okay, let me ask this. just, going to, let me just do, Mr. Norman, I have to put this to a vote, or could we just get a consensus?
We're changing the format of the agenda. We, I think, approved the format of the agenda at our reorganization, where we adopted as a policy. I can't remember which. So there would have to be some formality. And I'm not sure if those issues been discussed. The first question might be, is the board comfortable with voting on this tonight? Or would they like to consider it, and do a little bit of research, or would they be prepared? And I'm not suggesting any private applicants understand, or whether they're prepared to go ahead and vote on it and approve, or whether they would like to come time considering that's probably an initial hurdle, and if they're prepared to proceed, then we will proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Norman.
Formal vote.
Thank you, Mr. Norman. So board members, you heard from our solicitor with regards to this issue. Now I need to give them.
I have no problem with this ordinance.
Who's this, Ms. Moore?
Can I ask a favor before we go on? Because I know for me, it's really difficult here. If you're speaking, can you put your hands down a little bit? Because I know that's one of the complaints people have when they're listening online. But even in here, I'm having a hard time hearing.
And I'm empty too.
Well, yes, I
But if I go loud, I can definitely go loud this morning. I'll be glad to do that because I've never been told I was too quiet.
thank you.
Not a problem. And just in case anyone did not hear, I just wanted to indicate, I basically advised the board president that maybe she should determine from the group, the board members, whether or not to cook them when I think it's a thought. This is just been brought up, or whether they're comfortable voting on that today.
Thank you, Ms. Norman. We heard from Ms. Moore. Ms. Moore said she's not. Okay, Mr. Shaw. Any other comments?
Madam President, I think maybe we should come together first and make a decision and come out and vote on it. I think we should talk about it first and make a decision.
You want to discuss it further and make a decision
Yes.
tonight or?
Well, we have executive session.
Well, no, this would be a public, this would be a public discussion. Yeah. There's no need to, because there's nothing really confidential here. I just need to know how the board feels. Whether or not, yes, Ms. Peterson?
So what I'm hearing our solicitor state is that we would have to amend our agenda that we adopted in January, am I correct?
That is correct.
I have to be honest, and I apologize for this, but and Ms. Boyle recalls, or he recalls, I believe we either set our agenda by policy, in which case we would have to amend the policy, or by affirmative vote at reorg. Now, I'm getting mixed up when I go to township meetings versus school board meetings. I know the township, they always approve their agenda format at reorganization, and I can't recall specifically what we do. Mr. Boyle, do you recall?
I don't recall them approving.
But I think in our policy, there is if I'm not mistaken, I'm fairly certain that there is a format of how our board meetings should proceed.
I also do recall in somewhere in the policy, I recall reading that, how our particular agenda is set up. And so
So we're going to do it, we should do it right and do an introduction of the policy to amend the policy to include this in the agenda, and then come back and adopt it at the next meeting, because as you know, it requires a two-step process on first reading and second reading of policy adoptions.
Mr. Blake, are you clear on that?
Crystal.
Do you have any questions? Any other than Ms. Moore and Mr. Shaw's comment, any other comments from any other board members? Okay, taking on the advisement of Mr. Long, board members, I'm saying that we are going to take this under consideration with regards to making sure that we do step in the right direction. You should know, Mr. Blake, I have no problems with it, but here again, policy is policy. And we want to make sure that we make the right step. So we will research this and at our next meeting, which is April 27th, I believe April 27th, however, our policy committee is April 28th, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that we consider this and come back at our next meeting, which is April 27th, Mr. Blake, with a definitive answer for you. Okay?
We also talked about, again, being more inclusive and diverse. We also talked about recognizing the labor recognition given on respect. As a community, we decided to hold back just a little bit with that, but we wanted to acknowledge the people that were enslaved as well. And the last thing we talked about was, What's Up Winslow. We talked about possible activities for What's Up Winslow, but the committee will discuss that at our next meeting. Dates and times, locations, and activities for that. We did a What's Up Winslow probably about 2014, 15, somewhere around there. We wanted to, I know it was a lot of work, but we wanted to do something like that in the fall. And that pretty much includes, we were 5, 25, that pretty much includes our work.
Thank you, Mr. Blake, but I want to go back to, I believe there was a recommendation out of the committee, and that had to do with changing the format of our town hall meetings.
Yes.
And the recommendations that we start in a large group and then break out into the smaller groups. Now, here again, I don't believe, Mr. Long, that there's anything in policy that talks about our town hall meetings.
No, if I'm looking at the board policy currently, and there's policy 0164, conduct of board meeting, and it specifically lays out the order of business is public notice, mission statement, roll call, pledge of allegiance, executive session, board's presentations, correspondence minutes, board committee reports, superintendent's reports. And it talks about, obviously, business administrator and the other items that we currently routinely see. So if we wanted to have a significant effect, and it's incentive to put out that we try ourselves, which is way better than they do that, at least there's my grandma always tells me, always told me, we would have to do that for
Okay, that's fine. So as I said before, Mr. Baker, we will have a definitive answer for you by our next meeting.
Okay.
On that particular issue, but with regards to the town hall meeting,
It's not mentioned.
It's not mentioned, so therefore we can, at this point, decide whether or not we would accept the recommendations of the marketing committee with regards to changing the agenda. And that is start in a large group and then break out into smaller groups. Break up schools and have board members all sit at tables to discuss what's going on in the buildings, then come back to a large group for the wrap up, which is pretty similar to many of the sessions that we as board members have had to go through in training with NJSBA. So board members, that's the recommendation. We have in front of you that's coming out of the marketing committee as it relates to going forward with our next town hall meeting. What is your pleasure? I need to know. I didn't hear you, Thomas.
I agree with the format.
You agree with the format? Mr. Shaw?
We're gonna do, like, let's say, break out into small groups, then should, like, if it's per school, then should each building rep take that school?
That's to be considered. Mr. Blake?
I know I'm talking real quick. I don't know about that. I mean, the only
I'm a little apprehensive because I'm not there for the day-to-day operations, so I'm a little hesitant. I mean, I know the school leader's going to be there. I hope to be at the table, so that the school leader can, field those questions. Yeah, I don't know if I'm that strong. So, because if indeed we go forward with this change in the format of the town hall, we want to make sure we memorialize it in writing, so that all, any other comments about changing the format of the next town hall meeting?
Just my recommendation, and Mr. Ray, let's keep on that we have a representative from each one of the school buildings.
Any other comments? Let me ask this board members. At this point, would there be anyone who would not agree with changing the format of our next town meeting? Okay, thank you. So it appears that we all, Mr. Blake, will, as a board, we accept the recommendation coming out of the marketing committee that going forward change the format of our next town hall meeting, and I will depend on you to set that up for us. I definitely will. Thank you, Mr. Blake. So does that conclude your report? That concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Blake. Moving now, board members, to our operations committee. There will be a report of our operations committee.
Madam President, not at this time, but our next meeting will be April 26th at 5:30.
Thank you, Mr. Blake. Moving now to our policy committee, as I indicated earlier, our policy committee will be meeting on April 28th at 4 p.m. and it will be digital. Dr. Kokomo, is that okay? Does that work for you?
I'm sorry.
The next policy committee meeting, April 28th
Yes.
at 4 p.m. and it will be remote. Okay? Moving now, the Citizen Advisory Committee. Ms. Martin, do you have a report, or would you rather that we remember that?
Ms. Renzulli is going to do minutes.
Ms. Renzulli?
This Citizens Advisory Committee met on April 7th.
Mr. Polk, excuse me, Mr. Renzulli, let's get your mic.
And Mr. Dooley, would you mind giving your name? and-
Sure, absolutely.
Just your first minutes.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Christy Renzulli. I am co-chair of the Citizens Advisory Committee with Joe Thomas, who is also in the room. The Citizens Advisory Committee met on April 7th, 2022, starting at 7 p.m. The Citizens Advisory Committee is formed by the Board of Education with the purpose of seeking advice, recommendations, and providing widespread involvement in issues affecting the district. In attendance at the meeting, we had a full committee present, were Joe Thomas, Jennifer Moss, Marcy Tomasello, Tish Pomnitz, myself, Christy Renzulli, Rosemary Hoffman, Carolyn Carter, Cindy Skurnick, which is quite a few of us, Michelle King, and Carla Ortiz. From the district and the Board of Education, present were Ms. Rita Martin, Ms. Charlotte Pence, Ms. Julie Peterson, and Dr. Petit. One of the topics of recommendation that came out was a peer mentoring program. This topic was carried over from the last CAC board to this CAC board. They had submitted or had started to submit a recommendation of creating a peer-to-peer parenting mentor program. The committee discussed that the program may be beneficial to the community and could be a bridge to connect parents to additional support and resources that they may want or need. Questions were asked about what needs were most specific for parents in the community, and board members also asked what specific role was being requested of them. The committee discussed that this would require buy-in from parents, both wanting or needing assistance, and also a real commitment by the committee to establish this program. The committee decided that the idea was worthy of pursuing with a vote of 7 agreed, 1 agreed with reservation, and 1 abstention. A subcommittee will need to be formed to further plan with the idea that a more formalized and structured outline be then presented to the board from that subcommittee. Other topics that were discussed at the meeting include physical education, aids in classrooms, teacher training and recruitment, and planning and development, where Dr. Lateef explained the process for all of us of what happens with community partnership and school partnership within planning and development. One of the things that the committee decided was that in order to keep moving and working forward, that subcommittees would be formed, and then a subcommittee list would be created where members of the committee could sign up for that subcommittee to keep work moving forward, since it is just a monthly meeting. So that would be ongoing. At the conclusion of the meeting, Dr. Lateef distributed a book with courses of studies for the high school and a book of accomplishments that the district had in place so that the CAC could better be educated on those topics. And we discussed a lot of the most recent accomplishments that are really valid and valuable within our district. We then discussed some areas where the board and Dr. Lateef thought this community committee could be of service with communication and efforts within the community. Some of those topics were the dress code policy, preparing the community as that new policy comes to fruition, code of conduct, and the need for support from parents when addressing a concern with a student, our attendance policy, and our cell phone policies so that the community understands those policies as they stand today. The meeting concluded at approximately 9 p.m. and our next meeting is on May 5th at 7 p.m.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee, can you stay here for a minute?
Absolutely.
Because I need to find out from the board members whether or not they have any questions or comments as it relates to the minutes.
Ms. Wicks, if I may,
Ms. Lyon?
in the meeting that we had on April 7th, we had the pleasure of Carla Ortiz, who joined us, and board member, she's from Chilhurst. She is their new president. So she joined our meeting on April 7th.
Ms. Winslow, very comprehensive. My question would be, what, if at this time, would there be any recommendations you would have for us at this time from this meeting, or will there be recommendations for the company? I know you talked about the parent support group, which I think would be very beneficial, but would there be anything else any other recommendation at this time?
The only other recommendation that came up during the meeting was the potential of having curriculum listed on the website. So that and the peer-to-peer mentor program are the only two recommendations that came to light at this time. The peer-to-peer mentor recommendation needs a little bit more solidification before we would come to you with an official recommendation.
Thank you, Mrs. Winslow.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Lateef, with regards to the recommendation as it relates to the comment relates to the parent support group and the posting on placing of the curriculum to the website or
What we, the parent support group would be very helpful. One of the priorities we've always had is parent engagement, so of course we would be more than happy to have that kind of support in the community. As far as the curriculum is concerned, I did do some research in the minimum requirement that we have is to make sure the community is aware of whatever the state goals and objectives for the district and whether or not we can compliance. So I will review, as I stated at that particular meeting, let me take an opportunity to review what our expectations and what the requirements are, and then I will make a recommendation.
Thank you, Dr. All right, moving on, I'm still on page 2. At this time, board members, I'm asking for a motion to approve the superintendent's report as it appears. Begins at the middle of page 2 and continues through to the bottom of page 6. Is there a motion?
Julie Pearson, move
superintendent's report, A and B, down on pages 2 through 7.
Ranger, second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Redmond. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Dredden?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Nieves? Yes. Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas? Yes. Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Moving now, board members, I'm asking for a motion to approve the Business Administrative Board Secretary's report as it appears on page 7, continues through from page 7 to the bottom of page 13. Is there a motion?
Julie Peterson moved for adoption of the business administrator, board secretary report, A and B, down on page 7 through 13.
Ranger, second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Redmond. Are there any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Dredden? Ms.
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Nieves? Yes. Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas? Yes. Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Smith?
Ms. Paul, yes to everything except page 9, number 12. I recuse myself from that.
Yes, I think it's need to repeat myself for page 9, number 12. And the others are fine.
Yeah, this is Ms. Lawrence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion passed.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Paul. At this time, I'm asking a motion to approve the personnel report as it appears beginning at page 14 and continuing through to the bottom of page 16. Is there a motion?
Julie Peterson moved for approval of the personnel report, the superintendent's recommendation for approval of the top action items 1 through 10, down on page 14.
Ranger, second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Dredden. Further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Dredden?
Yes.
Ms. Martin? Yes. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Nieves? Yes. Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas? Yes. Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Paul. At this time, board members, I draw your attention to our addendum of big sheet. And I know that we did receive this earlier, so therefore I'm asking for a motion to approve the personnel report as it appears on our addendum beginning and ending on page 1. Is there a motion?
Julie Peterson moved for approval of the personnel report, the superintendent's recommendation for approval of the top actions 1 and 2.
Ranger, second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Dredden. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Dredden?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Nieves? Yes. Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas? Yes. Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Paul. Moving now to the Open Public Records Act request, Ms. Gordon.
Yes, Madam President, between the period of March 18th and April 7th, 2022, we received 2 OPA requests. One was from Jacqueline Sessa from Deltec. They requested an electronic copy of the specifications and any other documents associated with the project. The project that they referenced was the 22 site improvements in the middle school. Those documents were turned over. The second request came from Deb Zern from Strobel Consulting, and she had several questions regarding schools 1 through 6, and they wanted to know if we use Go Math and to what extent those questions were compiled and answered, and the request was turned over.
Concluded. Thank you, Ms. Paul. Moving now to old business, board members, would there be any old business that you would care to discuss at this time? Thank you. Hearing none. New business, would Would there be any new business that you would care to discuss at this time?
Yes, Madam President, I have one new business item. It does not appear on the board report, because it's basically a request, from the Tall Pines Day Camp. The Tall Pines Day Camp, they are, located in, Williamstown, New Jersey. And prior to the pandemic, they had requested and we approved it that they use, School 5 parking lot just to pick up young people and the staff in the morning once school's over. They're asking to use the parking lot from June 27th to August 19th. What normally happens, those young people who register for their camp will meet in the parking lot at 9 o'clock. Their bus will come by, pick them up, as well as the staff who work there, take them to the camp, of course, return to the parking lot at the end of the day. Usually the parents are there waiting with them in the car after the bus comes and they take them home. Again, they're asking for that request today, and I totally believe that this is something I will have to bring forward to the board. Of course, if there's any certificate of liability required, which I asked last year just in case the bus came to the parking lot, hit my car or something. But anyway, that is the request that's being made in the board at this time.
Board members, questions, comments with regards to that request before I ask for a motion? Something clear on the request? This time, then I'm asking for a motion to approve the use of tall pines for parking lot pickup.
Yes,
On the dates that Dr. teaches,
June 27th through August 19th, and it's usually about 4 or 5 students who there.
thank you, Dr. So is there a motion?
Julie Peterson, moves for adoption of Tall Pines Camp of Williamstown, New Jersey, to utilize school number 5 parking lot from June 27th to August 19th.
Render the same.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Stratton. Any further comments or questions on this motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Stratton? Yes. Ms. Martin? Yes. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Williams? Yes. Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas? Yes. Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Just one other comment with regards to e-business and the citizen advisory committee of estimates. It's something that's minor, but it could be accepted as important. They ask that as board members, of course, we all have emails and the community contacts us, but they will want us to be reminded to check out junk mail. Because sometimes when emails come in and it falls into the junk mail and it's just kind of overlooked. So they just wanted to know that we were reminded to check out email as well as regular mail. That's all the new business that I have at this time. Informational items, Dr. Wilkie?
Yes, Madam President, members of the board and community, I have several information items for this evening. First, you will also find on our website that there are 2 new initiatives to support families and businesses at the same time. The first initiative is on Friday, April 15th in Williamstown, New Jersey, which is Winslow Township. The Community Care Food and Clothing Pantry in partnership with the C-Bar Restaurant will distribute 100 meals to families for Good Friday, April 15th from 12 to 3 p.m. at the C-Bar, 305 South Main Street, Williamstown, New Jersey. This event is free and open to the public. More importantly, they ask everyone to please come out and meet with mayors who are supporting this project. The mayor from Winslow Township, Mr. Richard DeLucia, our mayor, Mrs. Marie Lawrence of Winslow Township, and Mayor Jamila Odom Brinberg of Children'sville will be there to student dinners. The second one, yes.
Just as a addendum to that, with regards to those dinners, again, the dinners are going to be lobster, chicken, and fish. And again, you do have to register, but you should know that it's closed. It's full. I tried to register. Not for me, someone else. But it's closed, so just thought I'd let you know that. But the lobster, yes, it's closed.
I do have that information, but I want to encourage everyone to go to the website so you can see the menu. The second initiative, being just as important, happens the very next day. This is a special Easter food distribution hosted by our mayor, Ms. Marie Lawrence. Saturday, April 16th, the Community Care Food and Clothing Pantry, in partnership with Mayor of the Township of Winslow, Ms. Marie Lawrence, will host a town-wide drive-up food distribution for anyone who's in need of food for the Easter holiday on Saturday, April 16th, 2022, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This will be held at Winslow Township Senior Center, which is the Bud Dugal Center, located at 33 Cooper Fowler Road, which is next to the Canton County Library. This event is free and open to the public. This drive is expected to feed 250 families while supplies last. Now, this is good if you want to add a footnote to that, I don't know.
But
my second information item also is now on our website, is the Canton County Summer Youth Employment Program. This program is asking young people who are interested in summer employment to fill out an application by May the 13th. Those applications are due, and the work program will begin on June 27th to August 19th. The applicants must be a resident of Canton County. Applicants must be willing and available to fully complete the 8-week program. Applicants must attend a 30-minute interview prior to being selected, and all applicants must attend an evening orientation once selected to participate in the program. Each intern will receive $15 per hour. But I want to reiterate this for all of our young people and for the parents who are interested in their children applying. There are some rules for participation, and I think it's important because this is something that we have enforced and continue to enforce here in the school district in preparation for our young people, not only going into the marketplace, but upon graduation, going on to college and all those other things, which will require you to be independent. One, you must be courteous and always maintain communication with your employer. You must not get into trouble while participating in the program. If you get into trouble, it may result in dismissal from the program. Absenteeism or tardiness will not be tolerated and may result in removal. You must be on time for work each day assigned. Continual lateness to work will result in dismissal. Last but not least, as a summer youth program participant, you must always exhibit excellent judgment and respect for others. More importantly, you must complete the entire 8 weeks. If you cannot complete the entire 8 weeks, they ask that we do not apply. I felt that those requirements were important because one would reinforce what we're trying to prepare our young people to do upon graduating for summer employment. Also, I'd like to announce that Mrs. Fitz and I met with Ms. Carl Ortiz, the new president of the Chipperhurst Board of Education, and Mr. Orlando Chandler, their business administrator. We discussed the possibility of some shared services with the Winslow Township School District and the possibility of using the school that they have in their community. We are only in the exploratory stages at this point, and as we progress, we will keep everyone posted. We are planning a site visit to Chislehurst to do a walkthrough through the school. And there are no guarantees, and Ms. Ortiz is clearly aware that there are no guarantees in this plan. But if there's anything we can do in terms of shared service or cooperation with Chislehurst, we're going to try to do that. But at this time, there are no guarantees as to what the outcome may be. Also, I'd like to mention that Ms. Ortiz, as mentioned by Mrs. Martin, is also a member of our Citizens Advisory Committee representing the Chislehurst community. I would like to reiterate that spring break begins Friday, April 15th, and I know that everybody's looking forward to it. People are hanging on to their nails to get to Friday, I understand. You all understand, looking forward. So spring break begins Friday, April 15th through Thursday, April 21st. More importantly, ladies and gentlemen, school reopens on Friday, April 22nd at a regular time for all staff and students. So again, the reason I'd like to place emphasis on that because I want to make sure that the parents are clear that we are hoping it is a full day. If a student is not present, then they will be marked absent as they would normally do any time that they miss school. So we are expecting everyone to enjoy their spring break and be able to return to school on the 22nd. As a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare for that spring break, let us be mindful that we are still in a pandemic and all safety precautions should still be followed. Positive COVID-19 cases are spiking in the state of New Jersey. We received our most recent update yesterday, and the map is yellow again, which is moderate. So I'm asking everyone to please be mindful that the pandemic is still here, to follow all the safety precautions, but more importantly, enjoy this spring break. Madam President, that concludes my information items for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Boutique. Board members, I'm just going to take a step back with regards to new business, possibly, new business. I believe I did send out an email with regards to information that Ms. Nieves had distributed to us and had to do with her. She sent us an email in February that had to do with communication strategies, and also she followed that up with one that had to do with parental community engagement strategies. And as I had mentioned that we would at least consider some of the strategies and information that Ms. Nieves has taken the time to share with us. So Ms. Nieves, you're on.
Thank you, Mrs. Pitts. Yes, the two communication and technology strategies that I had presented to the board was possibly creating a stipend position for a social media coordinator with the district. The other one was possibly using ESSER funds to create an app for the district in order to better communicate with the parents. So those were the two communication technology strategies that I had suggested.
So, Ms. Nieves, would you want us to discuss that, take a vote on that at this time?
Well, Mrs. Pitts, I just need to at least address the use of ESSER funds. The use of ESSER funds have already been earmarked and submitted to the state for approval. So ESSER funds cannot be used for this purpose. All right. Of course, that was already done long before Mrs. Nieves provided us with this information, because that was time sensitive, and we've already submitted to the state and have received that approval on how those monies will be spent. And of course, those monies are continuously being spent as we progress through the school year. So I just want to make sure, prior to voting on that, I wanted to know that the ESSER funds are not available for that purpose.
So, Dr. Poteet, would there be any room in our budget that we could consider Ms. Nieves' recommendation?
Well, I don't know that to be the case because I usually turn to my business administrator. First of all, keep in mind that since it wasn't budgeted, it's not something that I can readily say, yes, the money's there. The question would be, can we find the money? And if so, how much money are we talking about? Because at this point, we don't have a dollar figure. And so I'm not aware, and I don't want to hypothetically say it's going to cost a certain amount. Maybe I'd ask Mrs. Nieves if she has an idea of what it may cost, or, you know, and again, Mrs. Nieves, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, because I don't know either. But I think at this point, if it's something we're going to consider, I think it's also fitting that we take a look at it, whatever we want to do, see if the money is available at some point, and then come back to you and say, yes, the money is available, or no, it isn't available. Particularly because we are at the end, pretty much, of this budget calendar, and this goal was in preparation, as you well know, for next year's calendar. So we're pretty much in between bringing closure to one set of funds and developing another set of funds. So I'm not sure where we are financially and how much it will cost. So I will yield back to you, Ms. Nieves, for further discussion.
Ms. Nieves?
Dr. Petit, members of the board, I do not know the cost of those at that time, but I can certainly investigate and get back to you on that.
And we will assist you, Ms. Nieves, on that, okay?
Thank you. And as for some of the community and parental engagement strategies, funnily enough, the CAC actually kind of piggybacked up one of my ideas, which was the parent peer support group, so great minds think alike. Some of the other requests that I had, which may be aided with the restructuring of our town hall meetings, was to have building level town hall meetings, but we can accomplish that with the restructuring. I'm trying to remember offhand. I know I had a lot of recommendations, so I apologize. And I think that's all I can recall at this time. If there was anything. Thank you.
Mrs. Fitzgerald, Mrs. Nieves is gathering that information. I would like to revisit some of the recommendations that Ms. Nieves requested in terms of the technology, the speakers, microphones, and all those kinds of things, whereby parents in the community cannot necessarily hear, or we're not connecting with them. I did submit to the board some recommendations in addition to responding to the other recommendations, but all the board members should have received in early March from me some of the tech issues that we had, as well as recommendations. Do you recall that information I sent to all board members? If not, I have my email. Let me just reiterate some of those things, because the question comes up about whether or not we can hear, or the parents at home can hear us. And after having a conversation with our tech department, along with Dr. Carcamo, these are some of the recommendations that we made at the time. Relocate the board meetings to a room with a carpeted floor and sound barriers support for less interference. Basically, this room is not conducive for what we're trying to do. It's too wide open. You have the hard floor. You don't have any sound barriers. So the sound is bouncing off the wall all the time. These microphones are not designed for what we're trying to do. These are standard board meeting microphones that we purchased 5, 6 years ago for board meetings. So we have tried to convert what we had into something that we just really can't do with the present system we have. So of course, we are asking that you replace the sound system and microphones at the middle school so that it can be more conducive to what we're trying to accomplish. And of course, that comes with costs. In addition to that, we recommended that we move the board meetings to another location. High school auditorium was one, or the new conference room at the administration building. Both areas are carpeted, both are have sound barriers. So you don't have this wide open space where the sound bounces off the walls and floors. The other issue, of course, is beyond our control, and that is, even on radio stations, if you just give me an opportunity to step away from where, if you're listening to the radio and you have a call-in program, you hear the announcer say, excuse me, do you have your phone turned on? Do you have something else turned on in your home? Would you turn that off so we can hear you? Basically, what I'm saying is there are some issues that occur at the home, in their homes, when they're trying to communicate with us, which we don't have any control over. So those are some of the issues that the community has to work with us once we take care of our systems here within the school district itself. And the other recommendation, of course, was during board meetings, everyone must speak directly into the microphones, remove your masks, because even with a good system, if you don't talk directly to the microphone, you still won't hear. So those are just some of the recommendations that I provided Ms. Diaz as well as the members of the board, because we continue to talk about this issue, but this problem will not go away until we take some action. I also took a step further to ask my colleagues, superintendents in Camden County, how many of them were live streaming their meetings, and 5 of them were. 2 stated that they had to upgrade their equipment and relocate to a different room. 3 of the 5 said that they live streamed, but you had to be in person in order to ask questions or make a comment. And I also made that a part of the recommendations that I provided you as board members. So at this point, we know we have an issue. We will always have an issue as long as we're in this room and have the present system that we're using now. So I think it will correct most of our problems. If the board want to continue to pursue it, then we will have to take another step further and look into the estimated cost for a new system. I know the initial cost that was given to me was around $30,000. It could be more or less depending on the type of system we have. And I think it's one of those situations where you need to have the system brought in, test what works, what doesn't work for us, that sort of thing. But that's pretty much the recommendation we made. That's all. Yes, sir.
Dr. Whitty, I'm all on board with everything you said because before the pandemic at our NJSBA conference in Atlantic City, our latest live in-person one, I went to a live stream video workshop, and everything you said is 100%. Where the microphones, like, all the one there, I forget where the thing was in Warren County, the school district, the tech guy was from, and he said he needed microphones, carpet, everything. So I'm in agreement. If we're going to make this work, it's got to be new microphones, got to be a different location. So if that's what we're going to do, I say we do it, because if the community, if they want to hear us and they want to participate from wherever they're at, they want to access us, then let's do this.
I voted to suggest that we start with the least costly solution first. So try move into a different location where we don't have to invest a ton of money.
Honestly, the microphones are a big thing, because these microphones aren't
Yes.
going to be very
Right.
good.
These- No, these microphones are not conducive to what we're trying to do. These microphones are only for what we're doing now. Board meetings in this particular location, and that's all we had intended them to be. But it will require something much more expensive, much more elaborate than what we have here in order for us to transfer. Yeah, so the sound system is something that you have to do first. You know, because right now, location is not going to work if we don't include the sound system.
I guess I misunderstood. I thought that we could make it work.
Right, yeah. I see, that's all.
Any other comments?
Can we ask why we don't have mics for everyone?
Why don't we have mics for everybody?
We have two that are not going to be Dr. Cootsie.
Okay, well, again, we're talking about the system that's at least 6, 7 years. I'm not sure, how old is this system? I know we've had it for a while. At least 6 years, right, and they fall apart. So I have said to the tech that, sure, let's fix the lights as they come, and of course, you never know when they're gonna burn out. But we're not gonna invest any more money in this system, where we start replacing all. There's no need for us to do that because I figure that since we were on this discussion, that we may be going in a different direction. So there's no need for us to continue to put money in this system if we're trying to do something.
Any other comments on what
I have a question. I wanted to know what type of app she was looking for in terms of parental engagement.
I actually came upon that idea. My daughter's dance studio has an app, and it's a very basic, simple thing where I can see what classes they're in. The studio can send me alerts. There was a school closure, kind of in place with Dr. Cootie's robocalls. I know he jokes around and says the parents are tired of hearing from him, but everybody, for the most part, has a smartphone and an app, so just sending out an alert. Maybe even if there was some kind of issue within the school where we needed to get information out in a hurry, we could utilize that. It's just meeting people where they are at this point. We know people live on social media, they live on their phones, so it's just another way to reach more parents in the community at large, all at one time. That was my thought process with that.
The reason why I asked is certain apps require a certain number of individuals. For instance, if you're running these contact, if you have a district or 5,000 people, the figure is based on the number of people you're outreaching. I just, that's why I asked. There's some others that you have to do the same thing.
I know I did, my husband is IT, and I did some preliminary talking with him. Developments of apps have generally become less expensive as time has gone on, so for our purposes, we're a district of about 5,000, so it could be done. I mean, my daughter's dance studio is maybe 500 people, so, that was just me stream of conscious thinking when I was writing down the suggestions.
Mr. Blake?
Yes, in the district I work in, we do have an app, I just looked at it real quick. It does give us updates, I think it's a good idea. Like every resource that we would need is all in one location. I don't have to remember I work class dojo, like everything right there. I think we can look at what my district does, when to see what it look like, but I think it's a great idea.
Any more comments? So what have you decided?
At this point, I think we are, and I want to move back to the exploratory stage. I don't think we're in a position to make a commitment right now. I think what we need to do again is find out from our techs about the sound systems, have that further discussion, including Mr. Blake on the app, because I think we lost the app. And, it's just a matter of getting to the right people who can help us through this process. So if you're giving me the go ahead to start pursuing this so we can continue the conversation, because I don't think this is something we can resolve in one night.
So in this, you can't, Dr. Petite, if I may, because there are procurement requirements that Mrs. Boyle has to go through under the local public school contract law.
Right.
For example, anything that's over $6,600, she has to get quotes. Anything over $44,000, she has to go out to bid.
Right.
There's also competitive contracting options, but they are, they can affect how we proceed. The board can't say, okay, let's just go buy
Right.
the site you mentioned earlier, that kind of thing. we can't just go out and do that without complying with our procurement process. So, I'll frequently deal with bid issues and things like that. It's fairly sophisticated, dealing with those issues with Mrs. Foyle on a regular basis. So it's definitely got to be routed through the business administrator's office. But I think hearing what you hear gives you enough to know that you need to explore it, and then if authorized by the administration, Ms. Boyle could then go through her normal procurement process that she's required to follow as a matter of law.
And basically, Mr. Long said, we're not nowhere near that stage at this moment. So if you give me the go ahead to start the exploratory, to try to answer some of these questions, some idea we were talking about calls as well as the ad conversation, and, tech people and whoever else needs to be involved in the conversation. We can start that process when we return from the spring break.
So do we need motions for these, or do we just need recommendations?
Just everything you need.
Okay.
So we can just say that, Dr. Woodley, that we would accept your taking steps to explore the items that we discussed.
Yes.
As it relates to liability and also the financial impact.
Yes.
With regards to obtaining these things. Yeah, that, do you have anything to add to this?
I think the only thing that I really think the board should consider this time in regards to parental engagement is a climate survey.
Board members' comments? Ms. Nieves, you want to expand on that just a little bit more?
Sure, I mean, it doesn't have to be anything sophisticated, even though I know there are companies that would come in and conduct the survey for us. But given, our attendance at town halls and board meetings, I think a conversation is warranted as to how better to engage the community and parents and getting involvement. And the only way to do so is to go out and get that information.
Survey line.
No, I do not at this time.
So, Ms. Nieves, you are on the marketing committee, and so therefore, I'm asking that the marketing committee, with the input from Ms. Nieves, discuss the possibility of us going out and doing a climate survey and bringing back to us something very specific, with some recommendations as to who we could want to consider going out to do that. Ms. Nieves, do you have any questions for us?
No, at this time.
Board members?
Mrs. Spitz, I'd just like to comment on that. I'd like to know, first of all, what is the agenda? And what is it that you're trying to find out? So if you have a survey, then what's your objective? What is it that you want to know from the parent? And once you find out what that is, then the objective is to take action. So what is it that you're trying to find out from the community? What's the purpose or the objective?
So, Ms. Nieves, with the marketing committee, those would certainly be the first two questions that we need answered as we consider going forward with the climate survey.
Okay.
Okay? Dr. Woodley? Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Any further discussion? All right, we're moving forward now with our public comments. The Winslow Township Board of Education highly values the input of citizens in making important decisions that affect the children of our community. We also believe in the rights of citizens to observe board meetings, to ensure that all citizens have the opportunity to attend school board meetings and offer comment, and to ensure that the board can conduct the important business of the district. We ask that speakers follow these guidelines for making public comments. The board president or board secretary will recognize those individuals in the audience or who call in who wish to make comment. Please respect these following procedures. 1, all members of the public attending or calling into our school board meetings must treat each other in the board with respect. Number 2, Please state your full name and address. Number 3, please limit your comments to 4 minutes. Number 4, kindly submit any questions that you may not be able to have answered during this session to the Board of Education with your name, address, and telephone number where you can be contacted. Your questions will be answered within a reasonable amount of time. And number 5, individuals offering citizen comment are not permitted to make personal attacks on any district employee, board member, other testifying, or member of the public. So therefore, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to open the meeting to public comment.
Peterson moved for approval to enter into public comment.
Moved by Mr. Peterson, second by Mr. That we move into public comment. All in favor? Any nays? Board members, we're now in public comment. Ms. Boyle? Anyone signed up?
Ms. McClendon?
Good evening again, everyone. Amina McClendon, 60 Pennsville Lane, Sicklerville, New Jersey. Back last year, June 17, 2021, President Biden signed into law Senate Bill 475, making Juneteenth a federal holiday. So it's not really a comment, but an announcement. This year, Winslow Township will have our first Juneteenth celebration, which will be June 19th from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the New Brooklyn Park on Ariel Road. We will have entertainment, food, vendors, organizations. We also are looking for our students of Winslow to play a big participation in this event this year. For those who may not know, Juneteenth celebrates the emancipation of slavery. So this is the time for us to celebrate that now is a federal holiday. And so we are still taking applications for vendors. If anyone would like to vend, or if organizations would like to be a part of it this day, please let us know. The deadline for applications is June the 10th. And again, I just wanted to make that announcement so everyone knows what's happening. You should see some signs going up now. We have been putting signs up about June 19th for the Juneteenth. And so if you have any further questions, please let me know as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McClendon. Now, I believe, share with the marketing committee. I believe I shared with the marketing committee the fact that the Juneteenth, first annual Juneteenth has been celebrated, and I think it's only fitting that the board would have a table, Mr. McClendon.
Absolutely.
So I would say stay in touch with Mr. Blake, and he will tell you exactly how much of an involvement the district will have for that day, but we will be there.
Okay. Just to touch base on that, I will contact Mr. Blake as well. Dr. Botti, you and I will be talking about what students and how many will be participating. So we definitely will be collaborating with the school district. Thank you.
Mrs. Pitts, we have also been in discussion with Mr. Watkins. Mr. Watkins had approached us some time ago. We are also in conversation with him in reference to what degree or how much participation we will be able to prepare, keeping in mind that the school district is closed, graduation is over, and trying to get some of the other requests which we shared with Mr. Watkins and will be sharing with Mr. Clinton. We're not sure how many of our teachers will come back for some of those things and what degree of the students. So we are going to do our very best to try to assist being the first time. But I do want you to know that there will be some limitations because by that time, schools closed and we don't necessarily have the authority or mandate on the individuals. It will have to be on a voluntary basis. So we'll see what happens. All right?
Thank you, Dr. McKee. Any other, Ms. Moore?
That concludes those that have signed up. I don't know if we have any waiting room.
None at this time.
Well, as usual, we'll wait just a few minutes to see if anyone's trying to reach us before we adjourn public comment. Let me just say this before we, recesses to go into executive session. In the event that many of you may not be here when we come back out, on behalf of the board, I would just like to wish everyone a very happy, joyful Easter, Passover, and Ramadan. However, you're going to be celebrating this weekend, and hope that everyone stays safe. At this time, board members, I'm asking for a motion to adjourn public comment.
Peter, then move for adjournment of public comment.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Trader. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? Mr. Holmes? Executive session?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Dr. McKee, let me inquire. We did discuss, thank you, sir, appreciate that. That makes it easy for me. We'll be adjourning into executive session on April 13th, 2022 at approximately 8:32 p.m. Of the 9 exceptions, we will be entering into item number 8, matters involving employment, termination of employment, terms and conditions of employment, etc. They would be matters relating to supervisory personnel. These public teachers said to me, that potentially another matter which we are not engaging in this evening. I would anticipate that the closed session would be approximately 30 minutes in duration.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Board members, this time I'm asking for a motion to approve moving into executive session.
Peter, then move for approval to move into executive session.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Trader. Roll call, please.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Drayton? Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Nieves?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas? Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Hicks?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Rowland. At this time, board members, please